out of like the influencer world would be the most lucrative thing for my career, and I think I was the only one who like actually wanted to do it, and actually wanted to go all the way, and that's why I set the goal for myself early to become a world champion, set the bar extremely high. And
with around 2 weeks left until the fight, Jake Paul has revealed a part of his game plan in the latest MVP episode. Jake plans to use a mix of mind games, saying it's the only way he'll be able to put Tank down. Many expect him to rely on power, but Jake has said that a fighter like Tank cannot be beaten with power alone. However, it appears that the event itself is already underperforming, putting the fate of the fight in an unexpected position for both sides.
Like it's gonna be a good fight, entertaining. It's an exhibition, so we're gonna see how serious they really take it. But I don't know, they both getting a lot of money, so congrats to them.
Who has the edge in this fight?
I feel like Tank has the edge for sure. He's a real fighter, and got skills, high IQ fighter.
Instead of relying on his usual social media chaos and taunts, Jake has turned towards strategy. He's now showing signs of someone who understands this isn't just another crossover fight or a showpiece. This time, Jake's approach seems more psychological than physical. According to TMZ, Jake isn't only surrounding himself with controversial names. He's also sparring with elite fighters like Raymond Ford and Montana Love, both sharp, fast, and technically sound boxers, very different from the YouTube-style brawlers Jake faced early in his career.
The retort would be there's such a big weight discrepancy there, right? That's what some people...
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Tank probably sparred like heavyweights or light heavyweights and things like that.
Damn,
so
really?
It's probably nothing that he never seen before. I'm pretty sure Jake never fought nobody that little.
No, it's good.
So
that's the fascinating part about it.
I feel like it's more so harder for Jake to fight a small...
These kinds of sparring partners aren't cheap either. They need to be paid, housed, and properly managed. But Jake says that's part of the investment he's willing to make because of how seriously he's taking Gervonta Davis. He's also admitted that this fight feels different for him. Internally, I'm the most scared going into a fight that I've actually ever been, Jake said during the MVP segment. Being vulnerable for a second, this is crazy. This is scary. It's kind of keeping me up at night. Usually, he's the loudest voice in the room, but lately, there's been a more calculated tone. Maybe it's genuine fear, or maybe it's another layer of the psychological game, showing humility to lure Tank into a false sense of dominance. Either way, it adds to the intrigue. But even as Jake leans into this mental approach, the business side of the fight isn't following the usual trend. The numbers for the November 14th card at the Casa Center are not where many expected them to be.
Granted, it's entertainment, right? But this what this is, it's sports entertainment. This is what's gonna put butts in the seat, believe it or not. This is what's gonna, bring a lot of money to the sport. Especially, we have people trying to say boxing is dead, boxing is dying. But, we have a whole demographic of people that don't even watch.
Despite being a Netflix MVP co-promotion, something that was supposed to revolutionize how crossover fights are marketed, recent reports show that ticket sales are struggling. According to updated figures, sales have dropped by 759 tickets, losing roughly $2.24 million in projected value. Prices have also fallen, signaling that resellers and promoters are lowering costs to fill seats. For context, both Jake and Gervonta have been major box office draws in their own right. Tank's fights in recent years against Mario Barrios, Rolando Romero, and Ryan Garcia have produced record gates. Jake's fights against names like Tyron Woodley, Anderson Silva, and Nate Diaz did major streaming numbers. But this fight, as big as it looks on paper, hasn't yet connected with fans in the same way. Some believe fans aren't sure how to view the event.
In some things, I think Gervonta's just gonna stick and move. He'll be fast, play it smart, I don't see him staying still for too long so Jake can land some shots. He'll just try to touch him. Who knows, man? It's an exhibition. It's a money grab.
It's billed as an exhibition, but not quite. It's being called a hybrid pro, a new term meant to separate it from fully professional contests. The fight is scheduled for 10 rounds with a KO bonus on the line, making it serious enough to matter, but perhaps too experimental to attract traditional boxing fans. Others think the novelty of crossover fights is wearing off.
How do you prepare for a guy that's different stature-wise?
Yeah, no, we have world champions. Raymond Ford in the 130-pound weight class. We got Montana Lovin. Shakur Stevenson is coming in this week. So
Wow.
just sparring against guys on their level and people who have, been doing this their whole time.
Jake has been doing his part to promote it online, posting messages like, "I'm flying in and destroying Gerv, welcome to the jungle." He remains confident. But the buzz feels different this time. It's not chaos, it's controlled, almost forced. Even the marketing around the KO bonus, which was supposed to make the event feel more dangerous, hasn't boosted sales yet. On the other side, Lamont Roach Jr. has made it clear that he's done chasing the rematch. His father, Lamont Roach Sr., recently told FightHub TV that they're moving on. When asked if they'd still be interested in facing Tank again, he didn't hesitate. "We checked him out," he said. "We checked him out, and if he retires, retire. We wish him the best in his retired life." That's a subtle but sharp message. Roach's team feels they've done their part and that Tank's indecision about his future has made it impossible to plan around him.
He going after that bag. Everybody think he should go back, fight, rematch Lamont Roach, give him a rematch. But he said, look, I'm going for the big bag. I'm going to fight Jake Paul. You know what I'm saying? And also they made a side $2 million bet on whoever wins. What do you think about this fight? What do you think that?
Davis has mentioned the idea of retirement more than once, and though few take it literally, it has created uncertainty around his motivation. Adding to that are stalled negotiations for bigger fights, giving the impression that Tank is at a crossroads. So for Jake Paul to step into that situation and try to exploit it mentally makes sense. If Tank is dealing with outside frustrations, criticism, contract issues, or a lack of motivation, Jake's best move might be to make this fight personal. Bringing in Shakur Stevenson, a rival Tank clearly doesn't like, might be one part of that plan.
The secret to defeat your brother, Tank Davis, whether you hate him or love him. That's crazy to me. Hey, ain't nobody damn perfect, man, but I'm here to let y'all know, man, y'all dropping the ball, man. Y'all out of pocket on this. You didn't see what Boots did? You see what Boots tried to do and you see it backfire on him? Now he looking stupid.
The public vulnerability, saying he's scared, could be another. Even Jake's choice of sparring partners shows he's not trying to outmuscle Davis. He's trying to learn the rhythm of sharp, fast southpaws. That's what both Ford and Love bring to camp. Still, the ticket situation is far from ideal, and insiders believe that if sales don't rise in the coming days, discounts could get even steeper. That might hurt the event's image, but it could also help fill the arena. Netflix's involvement guarantees visibility, but profitability will rely on both gate revenue and pay-per-view buys. For now, neither camp seems pleased with how things currently stand.
At Tank Davis or Jake Paul. So, immediately, the normal layman would say, oh, Tank Davis is better. But better at what? Is he better at selling tickets? Is he better at selling stadiums out? Is he better at creating controversy? Is he better at getting followed on Instagram? Is he...
Behind the scenes, there's increasing talk about whether Tank's team underestimated the fight's drawing power. While Jake's fan base is massive, it's mostly digital and leans younger, whereas Tank's main following comes from the boxing community in cities like Baltimore, Atlanta, and Las Vegas. The overlap may not be as large as promoters expected. That's partly why the marketing has shifted toward the rivalry and personalities instead of the technical matchup. Jake's team keeps releasing clips of him sparring, training, and talking with Shakur, all to feed the idea that this is personal, that he's stepping into a fight he's not supposed to win but still intends to. Whether that will convert to ticket sales remains uncertain.
Land one big punch and Tank being so much smaller, he just can't handle the power?
Nah, not at all. I think Tank is, he's been boxing his whole life. He's been boxing since a kid, so I doubt that's going to be an issue or problem. I think Jake is good for where he's at, but I think it's just levels.
Do you see more
Tank, on the other hand, has been quieter than usual. Aside from a short exchange with reporters, he stayed out of the spotlight. That silence could mean focus or distance. Either way, it leaves most of the promotional effort on Jake, who's trying to balance hype with credibility. He knows that if the event fails financially, it won't just hurt his image, it'll affect the entire MVP brand, which has been built on blending boxing with entertainment.
200 million. 20 million seems realistic.
That's a lot.
Even because Netflix is bigger, there's no pay-per-view model, so... And Gervonta is a big pay-per-view draw, especially for being a lighter weight class.
Yeah.
So 20 to even 40 I can get.
Oof, that's a lot.
40 I can understand.
When push comes to shove, though, you know, like 20.
Like Canelo's getting that 40.
Yeah.
But Gervonta...
At the same time, Tank's absence from the public eye has allowed other stories to grow, like Lamont Roach's comments or the ongoing debate about whether Tank still has the hunger for boxing. That's the environment Jake is stepping into, a fight where the opponent might be more distracted than disinterested, and where the pressure is shared between two completely different kinds of fighters, one born in the ring, the other built on the internet.
Jake Paul or Tank?
Like I said, I'm going with a tie, actually.
I'm going with Tank in the 7th round.
I'm going with a decision tie.
Draw?
Yes.
It don't really matter who wins or loses anyway. They both gonna get their money, so.
Tank saying I ain't about to have a L on my record, just even it's an exhibition.
It's an exhibition, that don't count.
As it stands, the fight is just 2 weeks away, with both men in the final stages of training camp. Jake's preparation appears intense, filled with top-level sparring partners and constant media coverage. Tank's camp has been quieter but likely sharp. Everyone in boxing knows that if Gervonta Davis shows up at his best, no psychological trick or mind game will matter. But Jake's plan seems centered on making Tank fight angry, to force reactions instead of thought.
Jake Paul and Tank as well coming up. Now that's the cause a bit of a debate on because of the weight difference. You know, I mean that's the case with Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather as well. You know, the best boxers right now. I think that fight there, I think because of Tank's skill level, it's like it makes it fair, even though he's not the weight difference.
Yeah. Teofimo Lopez was among the first to speak out, and he doesn't sound very impressed. This isn't legacy boxing, it's entertainment. Big guy versus little guy, almost like celebrity boxing, he said, dismissing the idea that this fight belongs in the same category as Tank's true career bouts. He reminded fans that it won't even count on official records due to the size difference, meaning whatever happens won't affect either man's standing with any sanctioning body.
Great matchup. It's fun for the sport of boxing. It makes it fun. It makes it entertaining. That's what it's all about. You know, and may the best man win. It's an exhibition regardless. It doesn't count.
That kind of statement clearly shows where Lopez stands. He's not predicting a winner because, to him, the outcome doesn't really matter. If Tank somehow loses, Lopez doesn't think it damages his reputation. If he wins, no one expected otherwise. Either way, the only thing being affected is the money. And in that sense, he sees the fight for what it is, a financial event, not a legacy moment.
Get this face off, Henry. What are your thoughts?
You're hearing that from me. That's cringe. In some weird way, I kind of like
cringe
it.
about it?
He's trying to big man the smaller guy, who the smaller guy to me is dangerous. I think Tank Davis is going to put the hands on him, but I like it, bro. I will say something about Jake Paul. He's brought a lot of attention to boxing.
Mikey Garcia has taken a more direct stance. No sugarcoating. He's openly picking Tank Davis to win and explained exactly why. I think Tank's going to win, Garcia said. Yeah, Jake's got size and reach, but Jake Paul's not a fighter. If he was a real high-level contender, then the bigger man would win. But Jake's not an A-level fighter. That sums up most of the old-school boxing viewpoint.
Because he was talking about fighting Joshua, which is heavyweight, and now he's saying about fighting Tank. Nah, this can't be. It's Netflix as well. I need to go and do some checks and see if like the main pages have posted this, but Jake Paul's posted it. It says Friday, November 14th. It's in Atlanta, State Farm.
Garcia's opinion comes from pedigree, the belief that true fighters who've risen through the amateur system, faced top-tier competition, and learned through experience operate on a completely different level than social media boxers ever could. In his view, Davis holds all the technical advantages: speed, timing, defense, ring IQ, composure. Paul has power, but power without depth doesn't last long against someone who can slip, counter, and move like Tank.
Jake Paul versus Tank Davis. They just announced the fight. What's your instant reaction to that?
I don't know what's going to happen with a 135-pounder going up against a 200-pounder. I think it's not a real fight. Jake just too big. Tank ain't gonna be able to get in from that jab. Jake land one good.
Timothy Bradley, never one to hold back, echoed the same sentiment with a sharper tone. He said the fight would be too easy for Davis, comparing it to a bee and an elephant. Jake's big, Bradley said, but the bee's going to scare him and make him run. He meant it literally, believing Tank's explosiveness will shake Jake early, pushing him backward and making him hesitant to engage.
But you can't be mad at somebody for doing what they feel is best for them.
Will it impact Tank's legacy if Jake Paul were like to beat him or even like knock him out?
Dude, Tank's a 3-division world champion, 4-time 3-division world champion. At the end of it, bro, you can't take anything away from him.
Bradley went even further, blasting the fight as a celebrity entertainment stunt. In his eyes, matchups like this make a mockery of the sport. It's not a real contest, he said, calling it damaging to boxing's image and suggesting it belongs in a separate category altogether, not on an official fight record, not on a ranking list.
Gervonta's legacy for being undefeated. So that's why I'm saying there's going to be a big payout involved to where they say it's a draw. I'm calling it. I'm calling it right here today.
At the same time, Bradley has been candid about Tank's own mindset. He's hinted that Davis might be mentally checked out from chasing top contenders, possibly choosing fights that bring in big paychecks and big attention instead. Still, even with that criticism, he doesn't believe Paul has any chance of beating him. For Bradley, it's less about motivation and more about skill levels. Then there's Calvin Ford, the man who actually trains Gervonta Davis and knows him better than anyone in the sport.
My only concern is, the gloves. You understand what I'm saying? Because we don't fight in 12-ounce gloves. We don't use 12-ounce gloves. That's training gloves, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's 2 pounds away from Jake.
Ford has been calm, confident, but cautious. He's acknowledged the fight's risks from the very beginning, pointing out the obvious: there's a major size difference. And with that comes genuine danger. The only thing I'm worried about, Ford said, is the gloves.
We have Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis. That's the state of boxing.
Yeah, that's
right now.
crazy.
Let that sink in.
Jake
That's
Paul,
boxing right
Gervonta Davis is so crazy. 135 versus 200. That is so nuts.
They're all expedition.
None of them are.
They're
That's not a small concern. Davis usually fights in 8-ounce gloves, while Jake is accustomed to 10. The current plan reportedly has them wearing 12-ounce training gloves, not fight gloves. To a trainer, that changes everything: the way punches land, how fast they travel, and how much Tank can depend on his precision shots.
10 3-minute rounds. The fight is 195 pounds, Tank, as you know. Over 10 3-minute rounds, and when Tank and Jake enter the squared circle to go to battle, they will be wearing 12-ounce gloves. 3 commission-approved, world-class professional judges.
My job is to keep him safe, Ford said. He's treating this as a serious mission, not an exhibition. And that shows how much respect he's giving the size difference. Jake's no joke physically. The man weighs around 190, while Tank barely hits 145. That's a massive gap. And Ford knows that if anything unpredictable happens, it won't be due to skill, it'll be physics. Still, Ford's comments about the business side speak volumes too. He's not denying that this is a payday. Tank, everybody he fights, he makes famous, he said. Roach was a nobody before.
I gotta ask you, Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis. Does Davis have a chance?
Gervonta is a great boxer, but he ain't gonna be.
So you got Jake Paul by knockout, or?
No, I don't got anybody, but I don't think.
He's just too small.
It just. I don't want.
He's right. Every time Davis steps into the ring, the spotlight follows. And this time is no different. Jake brings the audience, Tank brings authenticity. It's a perfect blend of marketing, even if purists despise it. And finally, there's Jake Paul himself, the man who made all this possible. Paul isn't pretending it's anything less than war. He's already promised a knockout. This fight is not going the distance, he said. Someone's getting slapped and humbled. He's betting it all on that one punch, the same formula that got him here in the first place.
He's a marketing genius, but when it comes to people that can lose fights, I can't get my head around it. If Tank hits him clean, he's going to sleep. He'll have a lot of smoke blowing up his backside by his coaching team and people like that, but when he gets hit with real 10 ounce, well, I'm told it's 16 ounce gloves, not like an exhibition. I'm told big gloves and head guards, he's gonna need.
Jake knows his strengths. He's not faster, not slicker, but he's bigger and stronger. He's betting that the extra 40+ pounds of mass will wear Tank down if the fight goes long. He's also been claiming he'll beat one of boxing's greatest, leaning into the underdog story that's fueled every fight he's ever sold. For him, the narrative matters just as much as the performance, and that's how he plans to seize his moment.
Jake went for the jugular. Jake comes back and says, anybody that puts his hands on a woman is a scumbag, and that's you. Tank responds. In the world of responses, it was as bad as it gets. In defense of himself, he makes a comparison to P. Diddy. Jake literally just puts his head down. He's like, man. And I think that Jake...
Whether it ends in a knockout or a cautious exhibition, the fight has already done its job. It's captured every kind of fan. But what do you think? Share your thoughts below and subscribe for more updates. See you in the next one.